Hey, podcast fans, welcome back to Stories from the River. This is your host, Charlie Malouf, and I am on location from our brand new Rock Hill, South Carolina store with our Senior Retail Experience Manager, Cathy Aleman, who's been with the river for 11 years, over 11 years. Cathy's first time on the pod. Cathy, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
You've worked in how many stores for us now? Quite a few.
Yeah, I started in Kannapolis. I was there for 5.5 years. I worked in a bunch of stores while I was there.
Yeah.
I went over to Pineville. I was there for like 3. Back to Kannapolis. Closed Kannapolis. Went to university. Over to the Matthews outlet for 1.5 years, and now I'm here.
Now you're here. Fantastic. Yeah. We're so glad that you joined the leadership team to come here. When they asked you if you wanted to come to Rock Hill, what was your first reaction?
Oh, God. So I was on my way home from vacation down in Florida when they called me. Renee and Kelly called. I was driving through Rock Hill, South Carolina, only for them to ask if I wanted to come here and be with Mitch. And I immediately said yes. I had no holdback.
Had you worked with Mitch previously?
Mitch and I worked together in the Matthews outlet. I think we were there together for about a month. And then when he first came to the company, we worked for a little bit in Pineville together.
So they said, hey, Cathy, take exit 79 on Davao Boulevard for a second for the rest of this conversation.
Actually, I was passing this exit when they called.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah.
Before we get into some of the questions I want to ask you about the grand opening, Cathy, what were some of your favorite parts back in the day? I know that we used to do.
Orange Crush 1.
Way back, we're in 2017.
Yeah, that was definitely a different time.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just like this. We just sat just like this.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything. And then Orange Crush 2, we did our business meeting, and it was a tough one.
Yeah.
And then Orange Crush 3, that was my favorite.
Your all-time favorite.
That was my all-time favorite one because we called Jeff LaFada the Godfather.
The Godfather.
Yeah. So then we did Great Gatsby.
Oh, that was your theme. That's funny.
Yeah. And we did Great Gatsby, and everybody dressed like they were from the Roaring 20s.
I remember.
And it was a blast.
Yeah. Those were fun times. I just remember you're like, Charlie, we're going to do Orange Crush again?
Yeah.
We got to bring it back.
Yeah, because when I went to Pineville, I just, was excited, and then we didn't do it that year.
Well, we'll have to bring it back, Cathy. So speaking of just doing events, we just had this grand opening celebration. First of all, tell me about the experience of the store getting open and kind of what'd you see, what'd you witness?
So I came in the middle of everybody putting stuff together. So some of the store was already put together, like when I came in. But when I first came in, and it was like, take care of the office, and I was like, that's a lot of boxes. And but it was crazy just watching everything come together in those last 2 days, because then we had our soft opening on that Friday. So Wednesday to Thursday was just insane. And then I remember Thursday night before we left, it was Mitch and I and the team, and we were just standing at the front counter, and we were just kind of glazing over the front, and we were like, wow, like, this is amazing. This all just came together so quickly, to think that this building on Sunday was completely empty.
Just poof.
Yeah. And we didn't get to see it like that, but coming in on that Wednesday, it still was crazy, and checking trucks in, and it was insane.
So tell me about the first weekend you were open, and how that was like Labor Day weekend.
That was Labor Day weekend.
So how has the community responded?
I mean, we had a good flow of people coming in on that Friday, and then it kind of built through the weekend because it was a holiday weekend. So, but people were excited they're excited that we're here.
Yeah. They probably saw the sign and were looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
So you've worked in several of our stores. What makes this store unique compared to maybe other of our stores or other retail stores in this area?
So to other retail stores in this area, We're the only store like this in Rock Hill. There is no other big furniture store like this here. They have a couple mom and pops, but this is
the destination for home furnishings. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
This is where we're gonna furnish
Yep.
Rock Hill's, best memories.
Well, I love it. I hope so. Are there certain products or services you're most excited about offering to this community here?
The Versatile for the credit apps has been a game changer in this
Really?
building.
How so?
So people walk in and they see it. And I mean, immediately the HFC is talking about, getting them pre-qualified. And there are times where the guest is like, no, I just want to, I want to go ahead and do a credit app and see what I'm approved for. So
Awesome.
it's a definite game changer.
Love it. So when you think about the company's overall brand or vision or goals, how does Rock Hill fit?
So I mean, we're the Raiders.
Yeah. Tell us about the Raiders.
Oh God, the Raiders. We have an edge.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, this the way that Mitch described it with like football analogy and stuff like that, like that's how he kind of runs the team. But from the day that we all met, I mean, we just clicked like we were a team. It was as if we all knew each other from the beginning.
Tell me about the team.
We have some people that came from other locations. We have 3 from South Boulevard. We just got one from Pineville. Kay Edwards came back to the river. That's so awesome. But we've all, in some way, shape, or form, worked in Pineville at some point in time in life, it seems like. But they're a great team and they're just ready to go. And they come into work, I mean, boxing every day, just ready to go. And Mitch fires us up in our group text.
So where do you think the store will like kind of settle within like the Broad River, kind of the Charlotte region, or just the overall, just how will it fit?
So we're just looking at this from like that we're newer to this area and the market is newer to this area, that over the next several months, I mean, we're going to get really busy. People are really going to love having us here in this area. Because then they don't have to go up 77 into Charlotte.
Got it. And you talked about having an edge. Other than like having an edge for like how you guys kind of compete, how do you think the store will fit within the community of Rock Hill?
So just some of the guests that have come in here, the HFCs just really seem to cater to how they are. They make that connection with the guest. I think that we're really going to fit into the Rock Hill community very nicely.
I love it. Are there any local partnerships or collaborations that have been instrumental in this grand opening?
None that I have experienced, but I do have a friend that actually works across the street at the Founders Bank, and she called me the other day and she was like, "Did you guys put a Ashley in Rock Hill?" And I was like, "Yeah, we did. I said, I'm in that location. And she was like, "No way. I work across the street at the bank." And she was like, "We're going to start going to lunch." And she's been telling all of her friends and family that live in Rock Hill about us. So
love it.
I think that that's an awesome thing.
What else can customers expect to experience here? Other than like we've heard from Stacy and Janet. They talked about the sleep gallery. You mentioned the versatile credit. Stacy and Janet also cited the Porter and Friends bedroom group. What else do you think customers can experience here?
So we seem to have a lot of like new technology on the floor, like with our motion. On Saturdays, Mitch will put his phone onto the set in the center over there and play it so that it attracts guests over there. And then also like in the sleep gallery with the Tempur-Pedics, and he'll hook up his Bluetooth to that, or when they're going in there to do a comfort test, they'll set it up for the guests.
I love that. So let's talk about the grand opening itself. What has been the most exciting part of preparing for the grand opening?
Oh God.
Or maybe it was just a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. Destiny and I pair together really well. So we had a list of stuff that we had to get done, getting those tags on the bed, on the lift tops, getting the corners put on there, and like just making sure that all the fine little touches that needed to be done were done. And then, of course, I was looking for the toppers because I was thinking we were going to have to do them, and it wasn't us. And we were like, oh my gosh, because I was like ready to set the team out and get all the toppers put
Who
up.
did it?
They came in on yesterday, and did it the marketing.
Oh, the marketing team. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, tell me what you learned from today's grand opening, like some of the speeches and what moment stood out for you, or what kind of what will you remember? Maybe it's the food, maybe it's the number of people, or maybe it's kind of
I mean, the food was really good.
it was amazing.
But I think just the way that everybody just comes in and knows each other, and it just always feels like a family. Like we're all just one big family. And it's just always nice to see everybody. And I think just the speeches that were given today were such a great takeaway. How Stacy talks about his grandma's stories,
Yeah.
and Carl is always so rah with everything. But it just this company makes you feel so welcome, and that's how it felt today. Very welcoming.
What time did you get to the store today?
So I got here at like 8:15. But I had some things with my parents coming out from Florida and stuff, so I was trying to get all that taken care of before I hit the road to get here, and then I hit a lot of traffic coming out of uptown Charlotte. So yeah,
You live in Uptown, or are you coming through Uptown?
I coming through uptown.
Yeah. And what time do people start arriving?
There were people here when I got here, like setting up and stuff. But by 10 a.m., by 9:30, 10 o'clock, people started to arrive here, and everything just kind of started. And
It starts going by quickly, right? So tell us a little bit more about the team, the Rock Hill Raiders, and playing with an edge, and what do you think? Like, what other values kind of stand out with the team?
so everybody, they just pump each other up. I mean, they're just always, I mean, the group text is blowing up.
So what would be a moment that they would say and to get pumped up about?
So
Like,
if Kayla's in the sleep gallery, Mitch will be like, Kayla's in the sleep gallery working on $5,000 or whatever. And then like, if somebody has like a big sale, they'll be like, okay, just put in $5,000, blah, blah. And it's just great communication. And everybody's like, go Kayla, or like, go Angel. Like that's just how they are. And it's amazing to watch.
Cathy, 11 years at the river, a long illustrious career, many brighter days ahead here at this beautiful location. I don't know how many grand openings you've been a part of.
This is my first one.
Really? Your first
Yeah.
one? Wow.
Yeah.
Only
This is
took,
my first one.
only took 11 years to
Only took 11 years, but yeah, this is my first one. I did go to Salisbury's,
Yeah.
but I wasn't there for the beginning. I went after everything, and because I wanted to support Ted and Sean,
Yeah.
because that was my team, Ken, Kramer. Like, I mean, I worked with all of them for years, so
Yeah, because we
You know.
kind of relocated Kannapolis to Salisbury. And,
yes, yeah.
so final words, final takeaways, final things that you'll remember about today.
Final takeaways, I mean, just getting to see everybody. Like, I love to see all my friends from corporate and from other locations, GMs that I've worked with.
What are you expecting on Saturday for the official
Oh boy,
customer facing grand opening?
taking some advice from Josh Stanley, who had a huge grand opening. From what I hear, we've had 1,000 RSVPs. Yeah. He said expect 15 to 20% of that to show up. So I'm expecting when I pull up to work that there's going to be a line out there. And if it's not there when I get to work, it's going to be there at 9 o'clock. I'm expecting it to be really busy, but it's going to be a crazy, good, busy day.
That's super exciting. Thanks so much for sitting down for your first interview on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and congratulations on this beautiful store opening. Thanks for leading the team and helping us get the store open so effectively. It's great to have a seasoned, talented, experienced leader and leaders with you and Mitch and Kay and Allison and everyone else, Angel and everyone else that you've got on the team here. I'm expecting big things out of the Rock Hill Raiders.
Yes, there's going to be big things coming out of this store.
Love it. Thanks so much for joining us here from the Rock Hill South Carolina grand opening here at Stories from the River.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.